Hello and welcome to Super Fast Comic Reviews. I'm Jason and this is my weekly comic book review show where I will attempt to review each book in 90 seconds or less. I will go through in my review the good points and the bad points of each book, and I will give it a rating out of 5. I will also do my pick of the week, which is the book I enjoyed most this week. I will also do my geek out moment of the week, which is that moment that had the most impact for me, whether it's a moment I enjoyed seeing or something emotionally that impacted me, or something that I thought was really cool. That will be my geek out moment of the week. And also debuting this week, I will do my cover of the week as well. Well, now that's all done, that's the introductions out of the way, so let's get on with the show. Well, first up this week we have a new mini-series from Marvel called Thanos Rising, and written by Jason Aaron, art by Simone Bianchi. I thought the art started off a bit shaky, but I got stronger as the issue went on and was really good in the end. I really like how in all the cosmic books now, the first issues start off with this, then you have the big page here, sort of like, and then we get into the story. Like, you look at how Thanos is there, he's got the bulk right, but it's just the way he has his face and the way he has him moving isn't quite right there. But then after that, once we've jumped back to the past, I thought the art really picked up and the art was really strong in this issue. I didn't really know what to expect from this book. I knew it would be about Thanos, but what about Thanos I didn't know. But what it does, and it plays into the title, Thanos Rising, this very much deals with him as a child. It shows you his birth, it shows you his childhood days, and it's basically had the vibe of, for me, the prequels to Star Wars, with where we had Anakin Skywalker and we had his descent into darkness. We know he's going to become Darth Vader, and it showed us how he became and what led him down that dark path. And this very much is the same here. The story is a lot different than I expected, but that's also a good thing. I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the art is beautiful. They have in here a dedication to Jim Starlin, which I thought was really classy and really nice. I don't know whose idea it was to put that in there, but I think that was a nice touch because he's the guy, after all, who came up with Thanos in the beginning. But yeah, I really enjoyed this issue. Looking at Thanos' childhood, and you know, you think somebody who's going to grow up to be evil and try and destroy the universe would have a really bad childhood and would be abused, but he's not. He actually has quite a nice childhood, but we slowly see the seeds as he starts this descent into darkness. I'm really looking forward to seeing where this series goes. I'm curious to see whether or not it's going to come up to the modern day, or if it's just going to deal with his childhood. But anyways, I'm really enjoyed this one. Another cosmic book I really enjoyed, and I give Thanos Rising issue number 1 4 stars. Next up we have 2 issues. I have read She-Hulk issue number 63 and issue number 64. Initially I heard this series wasn't very good and it didn't really intrigue me, but then I heard it had picked up, so I thought I'd give it a go, because the character, though the series didn't intrigue me at the time, the character does. Plus it's got Machine Man in there, and I really like Machine Man. Back in the 80s when they did the Transformers cartoon, the UK version, they used to have as a backup in it Machine Man. So I remember Machine Man from my youth, and I was really looking forward to catching up with him again. Book's very easy to follow. You have, like as always with the Marvel books, you have the introductory page which lays out a lot of the story, but also throughout the book it's easy to follow and get up to speed on what's been happening, and you have no problem following events. I like the relationship between our main characters, Red She-Hulk and Machine Man. I think they make a nice team, and there's some nice, you know, with Machine Man being a machine and being more serious, there's some nice banter backwards and forth. The art is really good. I didn't realise until, because I couldn't find in here, like usually inside you have the names on the cover, but you have the names inside as well, but I couldn't find them. And it wasn't until I looked at the second issue I picked up that 2 artists do it, because you can't tell. Usually there's like a point where it changes, or they might have for flashback scenes a different artist, but I couldn't tell when it changed. They both did a really good job of blending their art together, because I couldn't tell whose was whose, but the art was good. Overall a solid issue, but it just didn't blow me away, and I don't think there would have been enough in this issue if I'd have bought this by itself to have brought me back for the next issue. But in saying that, it wasn't a bad issue, it just didn't hook me, so I think I would give it 4 stars. So with that being done, we now have Red She-Hulk issue number 64. And this was a lot different and a lot better. Once again, the story is easy to follow. The art is, again, you've got the two artists, but again, you can't really see where the art changes, who does what. They blend very well together. The ending of the story is fantastic. Really makes me want to get the next issue and to see where they are and what's happened. Also, you got a nice mix of characters in this book, as the people are coming together now to kind of catch the Red She-Hulk. And you know, overall, I really enjoyed this issue. It was it reminded me a lot of X Factor in the way, like Peter David's been left in his little corner of the Marvel Universe and can do whatever he likes and comes up with these really great stories. And that's sort of had the same kind of vibe where Jeff Parker's been left alone on this book and he can pretty much get on with it. So you'll have unexpected characters will pop up. But overall, I really enjoyed this one. And I think this was definitely a lesson in maybe giving book a more than one issue, because certainly if I'd have just picked up 63, I wouldn't have picked this one up. But because my comic shop had both issues in, I picked the two up, and I ended up especially really enjoying this one. So I'd give issue number 64 5 stars. So yes, here it is, my pick of the week, the Indestructible Hulk, issue number 6, and this is the book I was waiting for. You know, I said I think it was last issue, it was a bit, you know, was I going to keep buying it, was I going to drop it, because it had been very up and down. Though I did feel that issue 5, it felt more like a Mark Waid comic, and it felt like he was finding his feet with the character and with the book. And boy, has he with this issue. It is a really, really fun book, and I really enjoyed it. There's a fantastic mix of like mad science with Bruce Banner, but then at the same time you've got enough Hulk smashing going on, so you've got a bit of everything, and I really enjoyed the whole mix of the story. The art was fantastic. Such a genius move to bring 4 into the book when you've got Walt Simonson on it. You know, a lot of artists today, they try and make their stuff look ultra realistic, and I just like, what I really loved about this book is it just looked like a comic book, and it was just it felt and it looked and it was a whole bunch of fun, and I just really enjoyed it. You've also got the mystery of what's going on with Thor, because he doesn't recognise who the Hulk is, and he's dressed in his old clothes. So have they time travelled here or something? You know, what's going on? But all in all, I really, really enjoyed this series. This is everything I hoped for when they said Mark Waid was going to do and Walt Simonson were going to do Indestructible Hulk. Really loved it. Give it a massive recommendation. My pick of the week, and I give it 5 stars. Next up we have Earth 2, and this month, issue 11, this month we have the whole fold cover where it opens up, and there's like another page in here that sort of opens up and makes the bigger cover. But I'm not going to show it, and it's not to be a teaser or anything, it's just there might be people out there who haven't received their comics yet, if they're receiving them in the post, or maybe they go and collect them once a month from their comic book shop. So I don't want to kind of spoil it. If you want to know what is in the cover, Google it and you will find out. They will show you the full cover. As for the issue itself, this was really, really good. This was probably, for me, the best issue yet they've done of this book. I'm loving the partnership between James Robertson and Nicola Scott. When they're together on the book seems better. I don't know if it's just the way she interprets Robertson's script or artwork or what, but when they're together on the book, it really is magic. I also really like how Robertson is writing the character of Jay Garrick, Earth 2's version of the Flash. He's like this guy, he is in over his head, but he still is trying to do what's right, and to me that's a measure of a true hero, when you know that you need to do this, but it's over your head, and it's too big for you, but you're still going to try. I think that's the measure of a true hero, and I like that. We get to see Dr. Fate at last. We get a little bit of a tease in why the Annual might be going to Gotham. So that was really cool as well. Yeah, and my only downer with this issue is there is a surprise in here which is kind of ruined by this cover, which I think would have been a much better surprise to have seen in the issue, because the reaction I'd already dissipated from. I looked at the cover when I got home, and so like when I read the book, it wasn't as big an impact as it could have been. So I felt that didn't work well. But other than that, the book was fantastic. was a fantastic piece of work, and I give Earth 2 5 stars. Next up we have issue number 6 of Bedlam from Image Comics, and this is the final issue of the first arc. It's also Riley Rossmo's last issue on art, which is really going to be interesting because his art has been as much of a part of the book as Nick Spencer's writing, and it's going to really be interesting to see somebody else's interpretation on the book. The arc ends really good. You feel like you get an ending, that the story, there's enough of a conclusion, you feel that it's wound up, and you feel satisfied, but at the same time it does lay things out for the future that they can come back to, which I also really liked. I think they got the balance there just about perfect. The book, it just keeps surprising me. I said this, I think it was in my haul video, that every time I think I've sussed this book out and I know the direction it's going to go in, and I've sort of figured out what might happen, it just does like, you know, a 180 and goes off in another direction, which is even more awesome than I could ever have imagined. A really great book. Image are really pretty quick with their trades, so they probably will have the trade of this first arc coming out next month. Well worth picking up because it's been a really, really good book, and I give Bedlam issue number 6 5 stars. Next we have another mini-series from Marvel, Age of Ultron, book 4, in this 10-part mini-series. And I think the line that best sums up this book is, the story is great, the art is not great. My memory keeps telling me that Brian Hitch is a really good artist. Looking at this book, you wouldn't know. I don't know what's going on. It's infinitely better than I could draw, so yeah. But for an artist the caliber of Brian Hitch, nah. It was very disappointing art-wise. As for the story, that was really good. We had our 3 little main threads of story all coming together, and the story's definitely moving forward, and it's still, you're like, how are they going to defeat this? And you're learning a bit more about what's been happening and how Ultron's done this, and I'm really enjoying the story. I think the story has been really strong. Just it was let down this issue by the art. I think next issue is Hitch's last issue on the book, so I really hope for his sake that he redeems himself and has a really good last issue. But I'm still enjoying this book, and I give Age of Ultron book 4 4 stars. Next will be Green Arrow issue number 19. Once again, it has that like fold out cover, so you get like your shock on the inside. And once again, I think the cover does hurt the book, because I think the reveal, because you've read it on the front page, you're just waiting for it to be revealed inside. And I think the impact of the surprise inside is greatly lessened, and the scene is greatly lessened. So I think the cover did hurt the book. The story's moving along. It does feel in times it's moving a bit slowly, but there's so much coming out, and it's building so much of the story in the background that you don't really mind, because the more answers you get, the more questions you get. So yeah, it's moving slowly, but you find yourself immersed in what's happening. I'm still really loving the art. Sorrentino doing a great job on this book, and I'm definitely going to check out, I think it's I, Vampire. I'm going to check that book out when I get paid, because, you know, I'm really enjoying Sorrentino's art. The colorist on this one, who I want to give a shout out to, because I think the colorist has added a lot. Marcello Maiolo, that's your colorist on the book, and I think they had a lot to the art of Sorrentino. All in all, though, this is still a really fun book, and I would give Green Arrow issue number 19 5 stars. Next up we have Superior Spider-Man issue number 7. This had my geek out moment of the week. There's a bit at the end where the Avengers try and do an intervention for Spider-Man, and I liked how it all played out, and I was just geeking out. Dan Slott picks up on a plot point that I had a problem with, and he addresses it in this issue as well, which was also really nice. The whole thing with the Avengers did not go down in any way that I expected it to. So I thought that was really cool as well, that he played with your expectations and went off a different route, which I think is going to be really interesting. We get to see the steps of Peter beginning to get control of his body back, which, you know, that was another really geek out moment, really, for me as well, to see that Peter's beginning to get control back. I'm really liking what Dan Slott has been doing on this book since they've turned it into Superior Spider-Man. And like, I know people have like, what are they saying, Dr. Octopus is, no, the Superior Spider-Man will always be Peter Parker, and I think at the end of the day, this book is all going down, it's going to prove that he is. Because yeah, Dr. Octopus might have his scientific methods and be more efficient at doing stuff, but he takes more than just the powers to be the hero. It's the man that is the hero. It's the Peter Parker. It's his values. It is the man that he is that makes him the Superior Spider-Man, and why he'll always be. And I think that's really where the book is going, and how it's going to prove eventually that yeah, Doc Ock can do all this stuff, but ultimately he's going to fall down because he's a flawed person. But anyway, that's enough of me going on about that. As I said, I'm really enjoying the book. I'm not always a big fan of Humberto Ramos' art, but I did like this in this issue. I think the stuff with the Avengers I wasn't 100% on. I kind of had two minds with his stuff when the Avengers, but earlier in the issue when it's just Spider-Man and Cardiac, I thought he did a good job with the art. And all in all, yeah, another really enjoyable issue, contained my geek out moment of the week, and once again, I give it 5 stars. And finally this week we have all new X-Men issue number 10. That was my cover of the week. Not only was it, I really liked that cover, but also, you know, I'm nostalgic because when I was a kid, the cover would really sell the book for you. So what was on the cover would really give you a hint of what was inside. And what I really liked about this issue and this cover is that that does happen. That scene does get played out inside. So that was something that I really enjoyed, and I thought, yeah, I dug that a lot. The book itself is another really good issue, really strong, as you would expect with Bendis. There's some fantastic dialogue. We get the whole thing with Cyclops played out, and it isn't just like, oh yeah, the heroes are going to fight each other. No, they have a discussion, they have a debate, which is what you want, and they get down to the meat of the potatoes of what happened during the Avengers with the X-Men. And I really enjoyed those moments and the fallout from those moments, and then the conclusion. Oh my god, what an awesome way to end the book and leave you with bated breath for next month. I'm really looking forward to Uncanny X-Men next week to see if it carries on from this, or if it's going to take place a bit earlier. Are we going to find out next week who has rejoined Cyclops' X-Men, or are we going to have to wait a month? That's going to be the question. The art, again, Stuart Immonen, I really enjoyed his art on this book. There was something a bit strange going on with Wolverine. He looked different to how I remembered he'd drawn him in the past, and I don't know what was going on. But all in all, this was another really, really fine issue, and this is definitely one worth checking out. The trade, I think, of the first one should be out this month, and it's well worth checking out because this has definitely been one of the best Marvel Now books. And I give all new X-Men, not only do I give it my cover of the week, but I give it 5 stars. That's my reviews for another week. I think I didn't do too bad for time this week. There might have been 1 or 2 I went over, but I think I'm getting better, definitely getting better. I'd just like to take this moment once again to thank all my new subscribers and to welcome you to my channel. Thank my existing subscribers, thanks to everybody who's watched this video, and especially a really big thank you to everybody who gave my video a thumbs up. My last video, my Comic Haul Thursday video, I got the most thumbs up I've ever had, and so I'd just like to really thank you for that. That was fantastic, and you know, I do these videos primarily because I enjoy doing them. They're a lot of fun, but it makes it so much more worthwhile when you know other people are enjoying what you're doing as well. So thank you very much for that. That's me done for this week. I will be back. Normal Surf is resumed next week, as I will have it will be Comic Haul Wednesday. I'll get my comics on Wednesday, and then my review video should be up to hopefully sometime Friday. Well, that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you again hopefully next week. It leaves for me to say, I've been Jason Ardra. This has been Super Fast Comic Book Reviews. Bye for now.